Hello viewers, welcome to a new episode of Business Compass. Every week on Business Compass, we coach, we mentor and we guide our small businesses and support them to grow bigger and hopefully better. Business Compass is proudly created and produced by Fiducia Services Limited with technical support from GH1 TV. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube. Please follow us. And if you like our content, let us know. We'd love to have your feedback. And we're proudly sponsored by Akosombo Textiles, bringing fabric to life, and First National Bank. How can we help you? First National Bank has got lots of great products and services for small businesses. And we're excited to bring them on board, and we also love Akosombo Textiles. Now, for this week, we have a very interesting entrepreneur in the studio. And it's my pleasure to introduce Miss Yaba Fojo, the founder of Favored Homemade Desserts.
Yes, please.
Yaba, welcome to Business Compass.
Thank you very much.
It's such a delight to have you here.
Thank you. It's a delight to be here as well. I'm excited.
And I have two of my co-experts. I have Mrs. Petra Abba Samoa. She's a sales professional and she's the author of Sales 101. Welcome, Petra.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I have Mr. Frank Abbey, a senior manager with KPMG. Welcome, Frank. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Charlotte. I'm glad to be here.
Today, we're going to have desserts. One of my favorite things in life. And so, before we get into what challenges Petra is facing in her business and how we can support her, so let's take a quick trip to Yaba's kitchen and watch how Yaba makes these lovely desserts.
Hi, my name is Yaba Fojo and I don't know if I should say CEO, the owner of Favored Homemade Desserts. I've been doing this since October 2018, so it'll be 2 years next month. Favored Homemade Desserts basically provides desserts like the name suggests. I make cakes, cupcakes, donuts, looking to expand but haven't quite gotten there. I'm passionate about it because I like to create. I like to have the opportunity to make stuff. And I'm artistic but I can't draw, so I channel my art through my cakes. One memorable event, one really iconic thing that happened was, my second time making wedding cakes. I had to deliver the cake with my mom because the cake was tall and it wouldn't fit in my car, so we went to my mom's car. And we were on a highway and somebody came suddenly to my mom's lane and she braked really suddenly, and then the cake just tipped over. And I had already put the sugar flowers on the cake, and so some of the flowers broke, and I also made cupcakes and some of them tipped over, and it was a mess. And I started to cry. My mom was panicking, we were stressed out, but thankfully we were able to deliver the cakes and the cupcakes. But because of this story, because of what happened, this changed how I delivered my cakes. Now, if I'm making sugar flowers or anything related to intricate sugar work, I don't do it before I get to the venue. I do it after I get to the venue, and I add it as a last, like a finishing touch. Otherwise, things like this will keep happening, and then I'll just keep crying by the roadside every time I'm delivering my cakes. So yeah, that's what happened, and this is how I managed to work with it. One major challenge I have, and I imagine that a lot of other small business owners have, is bookkeeping. My books are a mess. If you asked me what my profits were, I wouldn't be able to properly tell. I could only give an estimate. And another challenge has to be logistics. Logistics as in with delivery. Because of the lack of logistics companies in Ghana, if I'm delivering a cake, I have to either take it myself or beg my mom to take it for me, and that's difficult because I can't transport every cake by myself. So yeah, these are two areas that I really have challenges in. I would need support in terms of mentorship. I would need someone who could guide me, hold my hand and show me the ropes, because this is my first time doing anything business related. I studied French in school, and so this is new territory for me. And I'm looking forward to meeting the panel because looking at the the panel over the episodes, I see that these are seasoned businessmen and women in finance, in entrepreneurship, and I know that there's a wealth of knowledge I can get from them. And I believe that after this, my business is going to go to the next level. And so I'm honestly excited to meet them, but also nervous to hear what they'll have to say about how I'm currently running things, because I know there's a lot to do.
Yes, welcome back to Business Compass and welcome back from Yaba's kitchen. So Yaba, tell us, how did you get into making cakes?
It's a bit of a long story, but I'm going to shorten it as much as I can. So I studied French and linguistics in Legon, and then I did my national service at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Okay.
Yes, after Foreign Affairs, I wasn't doing anything. I was home and I started volunteering a lot at church. And one of the things I did was I volunteered to lead a Bible study group, and I used to take snacks. But that quickly got expensive because I wasn't working.
Oh.
And so one day I decided to make a cake. So I baked a small chocolate cake and I took it with me. And then one of the students tasted it and said she wanted me to make her birthday cake. And I started thinking maybe this could actually be a business. And one thing led to another, and I'm here now.
That is such a sweet story. Okay. I love what you're doing, and I like the fact that even from your name, you're very clear. It's homemade desserts.
Mm-hmm.
So you do, other than cake, you do other desserts as well.
Please.
I think I really like that. And I noticed from your profile that you're doing everything by yourself.
Yes, please.
That must be a lot of work.
Yes, please.
Do you enjoy that?
I enjoy the baking. I enjoy creating new things, new flavors, recipes, and all of that.
You enjoy the decorating bit?
Yes, I do.
So which bit do you not enjoy?
The business, the working, the numbers.
You're being so honest.
I mean, and I love it. Well, it's the challenge of almost every small business, especially when it's a creative kind of business. You get so caught up with the creative side and the customer service and keeping customers happy that it can be difficult to find time for the bookkeeping. But hopefully we'll try and help you.
Okay.
Because at this point, you don't even know if you're making a profit, do you?
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, so what are you sure of? Let's start from what you're sure of.
I'm sure that I enjoy what I'm doing, and I'm sure that I make the best chocolate cake in Accra.
We have to try it. Okay. Chocolate and cake, two of my favorite words together. Okay, but so what records do you keep in terms of bookkeeping?
Well,
Sales? Okay, orders. Should I say orders?
Yes, I have records of my orders because everything is placed either via WhatsApp or via Instagram, rarely.
Okay.
So everything is written down.
Okay.
So at least that is written.
So you note all the orders you get?
Yes, please.
Do you note how much you charge them for the orders?
Yes, please.
Okay. Do you note how much you spend on delivery per order?
Well, the delivery costs aren't mine per se. The customer handles them. I use Uber mainly for delivery because of the nature of the cakes. And so I ask the clients beforehand that are you willing to pay for the delivery,
that's good.
or would you like to pick it up? So all the delivery fees are handled by the client.
Okay, and you are working from home?
Yes, please.
Okay, so now we've sorted out that you at least on some phone somewhere, you have all your orders.
Yes, please.
What you haven't started doing, I'm guessing, is sitting down every week and putting it down and saying, okay, so this week I sold this amount, and in a month, this is what I sold. You're not doing that.
No.
But you have them somewhere. Okay.
Yes, please.
Now, in terms of your expenses, are you writing that down anywhere?
No.
No. Okay. At this point, I would move to Frank. Frank, we need you.
Yeah, thanks. I think it's become a common thing throughout a number of episodes that we've had previously that our businessmen and women really just enjoy doing the work and really having mastered the business bits of it, the bookkeeping bits of it, and all that. I'm glad to hear that at least you have records of all the orders that you have, and then the sales of it.
Yes.
I'm also happy to know that a lot of your payments come through what do you call it?
Mobile money, yes.
Which is good. The bit that probably will be challenging is how much you spend on your products and things like that. So I think in previous episode I've gone through, to be able to start your bookkeeping, I'm saying do your statement of affairs, which basically says what things do you have or own, who do you owe. Okay, so do an inventory of all the things you have at a particular day, okay, and any person you owe as well. List all those people that you owe at a particular day. So maybe on end of the month, do that exercise. And then once you're able to know what you own and what you owe, the difference basically becomes your contribution towards the business. So that's your equity. Then going forward, try and keep a book for all the things you buy.
No, I think when you say book, Yaba is going to freeze up. Let's break it down even more.
Okay. So just
Note
get a
down.
notebook.
Okay.
Get a notebook. Break them into pages. Okay. So first half of it, keep records of all the things you buy for ingredients for the business, all the things you pay in terms of expenses for transportation to go and buy things, and all those things that you pay in cash. Okay. Then also try as much as possible to pay things through either your mobile money or through your bank account, if anything, so that at the end of every month you can get
Let's do
every
week
week
first.
a week or a month you can get someone to help you summarize and start your bookkeeping from the statement of affairs that you did, right? And then based on that we'll be able to continually build on your bookkeeping going forward, because at this point you probably cannot hire an accountant.
No, and we don't even, she's registered as a sole proprietor, and I think that's actually perfect for what she's doing and where. My thing was, do you bake every day?
Yes.
Including Sundays?
No. I don't bake on Sundays. So Tuesdays, Mondays to Saturdays.
Okay. So why don't we agree that Sunday afternoon, evening, you're going to spend 2 hours.
Okay.
And just for that week, all the information you have on your phone, the orders, you take the notebook Frank is talking about and you just document everything you've sold.
Okay.
And then open another one and just note, I bought flour of this amount, I bought butter, I bought icing sugar, I bought boxes, the packaging. I bought boxes, I bought, and document that. Because at this point, how do you know you're even making a profit? Are you paying yourself?
Not really.
It's not structured. You take what you need. So we're not sure you're paying yourself. We're not sure you're making a profit. And we haven't even gone into your overheads, which we would go into now.
Okay.
Because for you to know that you're making a profit, all your costs have to be captured, all your expenses. And then you now compare it to the revenues you've made and see what is the difference. That difference now becomes your profit. And it is only when you know, like for instance, I made 2,000 cedis profits, that you can know that, oh, I've made this consistently for 4 weeks. So I can afford to pay myself 3,000 cedis a month, or 300 cedis. But if you're not even tracking it, you don't know what your profit is. And if you don't know what your profit is, you cannot pay yourself. You see, you have to start building the structures now that you're small and you're growing. And we'll get into where you're making these cakes from.
I make them
Mommy's kitchen.
My mom's kitchen.
I figured when I heard you say mom was driving you to get, mom was your Uber to go and deliver the wedding cake. So do you pay mom any rent?
No, I don't.
Okay, how about the gas you use for the baking?
I don't pay any.
Electricity?
Yes, I bake with an electric oven.
Yes, we know, but who is paying for the electricity?
No, mommy.
Mommy, okay.
I think at this point, if mommy is
a shareholder. Mommy is actually a shareholder.
Yaba is in trouble.
Mommy is an unrecognized shareholder in this business. So, how long do you think mommy can continue to be underwriting people's cakes? The cost of people enjoying cakes.
Not for long.
So that's why we need to note these expenses, and that's why if you know how many you've done, Frank. So wait, my thing is, I'm only a lawyer. If let's say she's made 50 cakes 10 cakes in a week, how does she know what value to put towards rent? Because the whole point is that you should be building up those costs so that one day the business can stand on its own. So how does she know what cost to put towards rent, towards electricity? Even if mommy is not taking it, we need to recognize that cost so that when we deal with pricing issues, we know what we're doing.
Okay, great. So it's become a common challenge for a lot of businesses. So I would want to take people through something that is commonly used called standard costing.
Okay.
So what it is that sometimes you may not have all the information, right? But what you are using, you must still cost it.
Okay.
So a way around it is to find out what are the things that I'm using that I don't pay for. Okay. And we are trying to note all those costs as a percentage of our turnover. So that at the end of it all, if we say we've sold cake worth 100 Ghana cedis, we can tell that 5 cedis is for maybe rent, 2 cedis is for electricity and the likes. So let me start with rent. So what you can do with rent is, if your mom is paying rent, that's good news. You can decide to say, how much is my mom paying for this house? And what percentage of the house am I occupying? So if it's a 5-bedroom house and the space you use for the kitchen and those things is like one out of the entire place. So it means maybe 1/5 or 1/7 because of the hall and other things. Okay, so you pick the rent amount. Yes.
Would it not be easier, for instance, for her to find a business that is similarly situated or uses the amount of space she thinks she should need and find out what that rent is and apply that to her?
Okay, so it's one of the options. Okay, so if in your case your mom is not bearing it and you look out for a rent of a similar nature in the neighborhood, so that's the second approach. If you are not paying the rent in your house, it's your mom's own house. So in a similar neighborhood, how much would a space like this cost me in a month? Okay, so if you know that portion of the rent that it costs somebody to rent a place like that, you note that down. And then you find out how much you sell in a month from the things that you do and find a percentage of that. It's one way of knowing what percentage of the space really is in your turnover. In the same thing like salary, you can ask yourself, you're a university graduate, maybe 2-3 years from school. How much are your colleagues who are working full-time earning? Because this is your kind of employment. So if your colleagues are earning, let's say, 3,000 a month, basically whatever money you make in a particular month, you know that 3,000 is for your salary. So those are fixed costs or things that are not clearly identifiable. Okay. Then the other things that you pay for, so materials and
I think that's actually easier for her to compute.
Yeah, put all those things together and then get your total cost as a percentage of the things you sold in that particular month. It would be good to have a study like that for, let's say, 3 months, okay? So that you sort of will see whether you have a fixed kind of percentage for all the cost. If it's transport cost, how much
the transport is managing it very well, but she's not calculating the cost of going out to buy materials, I suspect.
So that's so maybe in a particular week, decide to use Uber to do all your rounds and tell me how much it costs for that week.
Yeah, that's actually a very good idea.
And use that to cost your product.
Okay, so Frank, we need to take a break. But I think you're getting the picture. This is helping you. So you're going to are you using mommy's car?
No.
I would have said pack mommy's car for the next few weeks and do your cake round. So viewers, let's take a quick break. When we come back, and we're still talking with Favored Home Desserts, and it's a beautiful conversation so far. Okay, we'll see how we can recognize mommy as a shareholder after the break.
They say, if you want to find the value in a company, look in the balance sheet. But the true value of First National Bank's Corporate and Investment Banking Division isn't apparent on the balance sheet. It's not a number. It's nothing that you can see, hold, or touch. In fact, what defines one of Africa's most successful corporate and investment banks is something completely intangible: innovation. Going beyond the obvious to generate newer, better solutions to complex business and funding challenges. Solutions that are efficient, appropriately priced, expertly managed for risk. And the results are out there, across the African continent. Infrastructure projects that develop our continent, lending solutions that can help fund expansion or growth by acquisition, IPOs on the security exchange that offer corporates funding from equity capital markets, corporate banking solutions that optimize the working capital cycle, improve transactional banking and foreign exchange, hedging solutions that can manage interest rate risk and foreign exchange risk. Business challenges cannot always be solved at the same level of thinking that created them. It's often necessary to come at them from different perspectives, to overturn conventional wisdom. Innovative solutions require innovative thinking. That's why we employ energetic young graduates looking to make their mark, and conservative, seasoned bankers who've seen it all before. Nerdy mathematics geniuses and mature deep thinkers. Engineers, data scientists, entrepreneurs. This broad range of talent is freed up to perform and do their best. All viewpoints are sought. Intellectual competition is encouraged. Amazing things happen when minds meet in this way, and opinions are valued. The best possible solution emerges. It's a powerful mix of individual expertise and collective know-how. Great minds don't think alike. Of course, innovative thinking that can't be packaged into robust financial solutions is of limited use in banking. We enjoyed the backing of the formidable balance sheet of First Rand, one of Africa's largest financial services groups, with offices in Africa, Europe, and Asia. We also work across Africa in close partnership with RMB, one of Africa's most successful and awarded corporate and investment banks. Our financial strength is guided by a business philosophy that goes back more than 180 years to the founding of FNB in 1838. It signifies bold thinking, underpinned by financial prudence and solid ethics. We call it responsible innovation, and it coexists comfortably with a strong social and environmental conscience. FNB Corporate and Investment Bank, with a deal footprint in over 35 countries, a financial network spanning multiple continents, a depth of experience built up from countless transactions across multiple industry sectors, and still committed, deeply invested, and thinking up innovative solutions for forward-looking companies.
Welcome back, viewers. You're still on Business Compass, and we're talking with Favored Home Desserts. So, Yaba, are you getting a sense of how you can manage the bookkeeping?
Yes, please, I am.
And you're committing to doing that?
Yes, I will.
I would personally check.
Every Sunday.
Let's look at, you also mentioned in your profile that you had some challenges with marketing. Tell us about that, and let's see how Petra can help you.
Okay, so specifically, one of my biggest issues has to do with the volume of requests and communicating with clients. Because I work alone, I have to handle Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp all by myself. Okay. And maybe a client may send a message while I'm mixing a cake or while I'm working on a cake. And some of the things I can't stop and take my phone and reply my messages. So some of the clients can get a little impatient. I try to explain and be as accommodating as possible, but then it's difficult. It's
not really a customer service issue in terms of product. It's actually delivery. Just managing the volumes of questions and like instructions that come in and noting all that.
So I checked out her Instagram page, and I was joking with her before the show that I saw something very interesting. She had on her page, "No DMs, please."
Oh.
Yes. And I said to her, that's limiting access for your customer. She explained that it's because of the amount of requests she gets and the messages, and she can't manage them. And it's normal for the type of business that she's in, because customers want to ask lots of questions. Some might not necessarily be buying now, but they have questions they want to ask things, and they want to find out information. And so that for me was something that stood out. And then listening to what you're saying now and reading your profile and talking about client relationship management and how to manage calls and how to manage messages, it just makes sense now why you would put that up there. But the important thing you need to realize is that as a business, you need to think about what is convenient for your customer, not what's convenient for you alone. You have to think about your convenience as well, because operationally you have a limitation. It's just you. You don't have someone managing social media. You don't have someone taking calls. It's just you doing all of these things. So my suggestion to you, for instance, would be you need to block out time to do these being responsive, because one thing is that once your customers know that if they call you and they can't reach you, you return a call within reasonable time, then they won't get agitated. Or if they know that once I send a message, you get an automated response from your WhatsApp and say, yes,
we'll get back in an hour or something.
And then you know that within an hour you can get back to them. It's more accommodating. The thing is, customers have a zone of tolerance. There's a space within which they can accept dissatisfaction, and there's a point at which they don't want to hear. Okay, so if you say to a customer, thank you very much for your message, I'll get back to you in an hour, I'll get back to you in 2 hours, that's acceptable. And then you can also send a message that says, please give us details of what you want and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. Things like that. It helps.
Can I ask a question? Okay, yeah, but do you know how many cakes you make in a week on average?
On average, anywhere from 5 to 15.
Anywhere from 5 to 15. Because you are very clear that you're doing homemade desserts. For me, that is so different from a lot of the desserts on the market, which are from, the packaged mixes. So really, it's a premium product you're selling.
Yes,
and your pricing should be slightly higher or higher than, let me not limit you by slightly, than those who are making the regular desserts from premixes. And so for me, you actually should be able to price better and probably consider engaging someone. It can be a young student or someone right out of school, and you outsource. Don't employ them. You outsource this bit about managing social media and customer relations to them. Because if they are calling you when you're in the middle of mixing, it's easier for you to take their call. You're on speaker, you're mixing, and you can say, oh no, tell the client we can deliver let's say by Saturday, or we'll not be able to do it until Sunday, and it doesn't disrupt your work. Whereas if you're dealing with a client, you need more attention to engage and the language and all that. So if we do the exercise that Frank took you through, if you do it properly, then you will know what your actual costs are. Then you know what does the market price and what you can add on it, because it's premium, it's all the way from scratch. And then you can outsource this, so you can focus on the product and the quality without the customer relation management taking your focus away from producing, because I see that it distracts you, and so you choose to shut out the client and focus on the product. But that doesn't work, like Petra was telling you.
And she mentioned that she makes the best chocolate cakes in her car.
Oh yes.
And if you're going to make the best chocolate cakes, then you need to really focus on putting all of the love and everything.
Yes, chocolate cakes come with love.
Yes. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
You said outsource, not employ. What's the difference between outsourcing and employing?
Brilliant. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll deal with the differences between outsourcing a service or recruiting someone to perform the service for you within the company. Quick break, and we'll be back.
Immediately the product was actually introduced to me, I wanted to get on it, and that was the Gold Check account, guys. this has actually changed my business. So on the First National Bank app, you have the business toolkits that gives you all the information that you need to run your business, and whatever inquiries you have, they're always ready to answer, and that makes life very easy for me. And you have the in contacts that helps you access every transaction that takes place or happens. Now, point of sales terminal, I market wherever I go, and so I love to have that so I can take payment, especially with those who tell me I do not have cash. A bank that understands that you can start life all over again or start a business from scratch. Very keen on running it and making sure that you grow to the core. It's one you should look out for. My name is Jifa Bekwe-Gray, the CEO of Jifa Gray Creations. I recommend that you sign up to the Go Check account from First National Bank for a great banking experience.
Kairos Accra with Bishop Tajishekina. The set time for your visitation has arrived. Living in experience, divinity into humanity, and see your life going from glory to glory. Wait, Kairos Accra, the 12th and 13th of November at Accra Marriott Hotel opposite Marina Mall at 4 p.m. Kairos Accra with Bishop Tajishekina. Your life shall never be the same again.
Welcome back, viewers. We're still on Business Compass, and we're talking with Favored Home Desserts. And we have Miss Yaba here, who is the founder. And remember, Business Compass is sponsored by Akosombo Textiles, we bring fabric to life, and First National Bank, how can we help you? And they're really supportive of small businesses like Favored Home Desserts. Okay, Yaba, you asked a very crucial question. What's the difference between outsourcing and employing? Okay, you are a small business, and you're doing a lot of all your critical stuff by yourself. So the only employee that you're responsible for is you.
Yes.
And we're trying to get you to the point where you can put yourself on a salary so that you start paying yourself SNITs and getting the benefits over the long term of all the work that you're doing now. Now, if you take an employee now, if you recruited someone, say you hired me to manage your, I could do a good job.
I don't think I could pay you.
You'll be surprised. To do your customer relationship management. Immediately there are obligations that kick in. You would have to deduct my taxes and pass on to the government. You'd have to pay my SNIT. You'd have to have a proper agreement with me. There are obligations that come as soon as you hire an employee.
Okay.
Sometimes I could be asking you for benefits, healthcare. I need transport to come to work. You know, there are all kinds of obligations that come, which you have to negotiate with the employee.
Okay.
If you outsource it, person is not your employee. So if you agree that I'm going to pay you 500 cedis to manage my Twitter and my Instagram accounts, and you must do so many posts every week and all that, you pay the person that, subject to, I don't know what will be the applicable taxes. If you reach the
person, then we do withhold the tax.
Withholding taxes, depending on the
maximum.
yes.
Yeah.
So once you pay that and you take those taxes and you pay on to government, that's your obligation.
Okay.
The person is not your employee in any way.
Okay.
So you are not liable for a lot of things they would do, but you still need to have a nice little agreement with them to specify what the output you want, what you owe them every month or every week, depending on how you want to structure it. So for you, because you're small, it's an easier arrangement. So you don't carry all kinds of legal issues. We're going to go into the risk that you carry in your little structure, but it's still better, I think, that you outsource someone. And you can find a young student, somebody who is out of school and looking for a job, somebody who is working somewhere, and this is their passion, and they also want to support you.
Let me add a little bit. So if you outsource as well, for example, if you outsource your social media, chances are that the person is also doing for other people, so you don't have to bear the cost of the equipment.
Yes,
The cost of
phones and
providing the
whatever.
person and
Maybe you provide
phone,
data.
internet, data, and all those things. You just pay the person one-off, and the person takes care of that for you.
The only caveat is, because it's customer relations you're dealing with, you have to give them as much information as as possible.
And stay engaged with them.
And stay engaged, yes. So be very clear on the information they should pass on. You can give them like a list of frequently asked questions and answers. So they can answer the basic questions and insist that if there's anything beyond that scope, they come back to you. But once they do it for a couple of times, they'll get the feel of it and they'll be able to address the issues.
And you also still need to keep your eyes on that social media handle and see how clients' issues are being handled and responded to, because they're still your clients. And it's also good that you keep that personal touch, that connection ongoing.
As part of the arrangement as well, try and get the data. So if you should have, if it's a phone line that things go through, try and get the data, because your customer data will sit with that person, and at least you should have that data so that if you need to do some analysis to understand your customer and the things they request for, there's a data source for you. You get it? So.
Okay, while we're straying into legal issues, let's look at the risk. Have you ever sat to consider the risk you are carrying as a business owner?
No.
Okay. So, if for instance, like the example you gave when we visited your kitchen, you're going to deliver a wedding cake, and the cake, not just the sugar flowers had collapsed, but the cake itself had collapsed. Do you think that the customer would have been able to sue you?
I don't know. Maybe.
But if you ruin my wedding, what do you think I'll do to you?
I didn't do it on purpose.
You didn't do it on purpose, but my wedding is ruined.
I know.
Or my birthday party.
I know.
Okay, so that's a risk you're carrying. Another risk that comes to mind is allergies.
Okay.
So I order a cake from you, and you have some lovely walnuts or something inside, and I'm allergic to it. What happens? Can I sue you?
I mean, if you ordered a walnut cake, knowing you had the walnuts, I mean, I would assume that you would know what's. I mean, I've never considered allergies, but I would assume that the clients would know that.
For example, I'm allergic to blue food coloring.
Okay.
Not an allergy, but I'm not supposed to have blue food coloring.
Okay.
Are you aware that there are some people who cannot have certain types of colors of food coloring? Okay, so you really need to know that.
Okay.
And it will be helpful as part of you, before you take an order from a client, you actually ask them, do you have any allergies or any food restrictions I should know about? It may be diabetes, and so they shouldn't be having sugar. So you need to know all that, especially when you're doing things from scratch.
Okay.
You need to own that process. So get all that data from the client.
Okay.
So that you also know and you can manage those risks better. But since you are a sole proprietor, operating out of mommy's house, it may be very helpful to get insurance.
Okay.
To just cover the business risk.
Okay.
So that if, unfortunately, we hope not, you ever got into that kind of situation, you can call on insurance and they'll take care of that damage. So all you're doing is paying the premium, but you protect yourself and mommy's house from the risk. You know?
I just wanted to add something. With the issue of asking questions, it's not something that is common here.
Yes.
If you start asking these questions, you would notice that it's almost as if you're adding some extra value to the service that you're rendering to your customer. And sometimes customers don't become aware of these issues until you ask them. And then that says to them, she's actually paying attention to me. I'm very special. So you're creating an experience for them that they didn't expect. And when you give them an experience they didn't expect, they're even more awed by your product and your service, and they keep coming back. Plus, they'll tell their family and their friends about you. So it might seem like overdue, as you guys say, but it's a good thing. And as you begin to build your business into becoming a world-class business, these are common things in other parts that once you start practicing it now, it makes sense for you to be able to replicate in other markets. If you ever become big enough to want to put your desserts in shops, for instance, you'll be required to put all of those dietary requirements on the packaging. So it's a good time to start now. And get into the flow of things and know how it works and research the very little peculiarities when it comes to desserts and get ahead of the competition. Because I don't think anybody's really paying attention to that now. And like Aunt Charlotte said, you want to be a very premium service provider. And so people who understand that type of premium service would expect the questions that you'll be asking, and even those who are not expecting it, they'll be wowed that you're asking them.
And if I was a customer and I ordered a cake and I came back the following year and you have your records like we talked about up to date, and you now said, oh yes, and you don't want blue coloring, or there's diabetics, you're diabetic and so you don't want sugar, or there's a nut allergy. The customer is going to feel really good that she remembers and she cares. So those things really help.
And keeping the data is important because you can remember people's special dates. If you can
even send me a message. Aren't you ordering a birthday cake this year?
Is your daughter's birthday in the next few weeks? Should I put in an order for you? So you're actually getting ahead of what the customer, and they might not have thought about ordering a cake, but just that action that you've taken might trigger a request. And so you don't spend so much money getting new customers, but you also retain and grow your customer base.
That's a very good point.
So I mean, I think you are out there. So I don't know how you are managing your branding and as well as product consistency. What distinguishes your product from any other bakers out there? So I know you have some logo, you know. You should put it out there and then make sure that every product that you deliver, it comes with it. I don't know whether you've patented that or so that someone will not be able to take it in the future and things like that. So you are building that brand. So anytime anybody sees it, they can associate it with you. And as you grow, you realize that if you become big, that's one thing that should remain consistent. And one key element in building a brand is that your product must be good. And you must consistently keep up to that standard. So, for example, if I pick McDonald's, I know that it feels like
especially
this.
It tastes like,
yeah. It's not there. But it feels like this. It tastes like this. And tomorrow, if I pick another from another source, consistently is gonna be. So that kind of consistency and quality should come to build your brand, and then how distinguish it.
I think the branding thing is really important, and we need to look at it in the sense of Yaba's overall vision for the business, and we'll see how we can tie the branding to her strategy and still keep her as a maker of homemade desserts. So viewers would go and listen to Coach Bell now. I think Coach Bell is talking about social media, and Yaba again I think you need social media as that's your main tool for marketing. So let's listen to the coach and we'll tie that to the branding issue and your overall vision and strategic issues. So Coach Bell.
Welcome again to Coach's Corner on Business Compass. I am Coach Bell. Today's tip is on using social media to grow your business. According to statistics, the number of worldwide users on social media is projected to hit 3.2 billion active users by 2021, which is next year, by the way. That is 1/3 of the world's entire population. That is your market, that is your client base. You must have an online presence on at least the 3 main social media trinity: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Your target market expects to see you on social media platforms, and failing to be where your potential customers are can cost you valuable revenue. There are some tried and tested methods to harnessing the positive strengths of social media. Make sure your branding stands out so you don't get swallowed up in the big World Wide Web. Use exciting content to keep your target market engaged and patronizing your business. However, it is important to identify your target audience, and this is the hardest part, which is like a filtering process. Your social media content will help you identify your customers and keep them. let's not forget that business is about relationships. The relationship between you and your customers, you and your workers, and you and your money. Let's keep it a healthy relationship.
Welcome back, viewers. I hope you enjoyed Coach Bell's tips. Yaba, you found it useful, didn't you?
I've learned a lot to manage my social media.
Nice. Okay, so we're talking about branding and your positioning. For me, well, Petra is a marketing expert. I think that being in that premium space of making desserts from scratch, I think it's a great niche for you. But to add to what Frank was saying, you need to carry it through, even in terms of your packaging. Your packaging has to be extra.
Okay.
Customer service has to be extra. So everything you have to put in just a little bit more effort, a little bit more flourish, because you're in a premium space.
Okay.
And then you carry that thinking, that strategy throughout. Let's look at your overall vision. What's your big vision for flavored homemade desserts?
Okay, well, my biggest vision is to build a franchise, first in Ghana, then in West Africa, and eventually the world.
Yeah, Yaba takes the world. Okay,
Yes.
guys, any tips for Yaba?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a good idea to have a franchise. What a franchise means is that you have a brand, you have a set of processes, you have a set of controls and training programs. Okay, so that's all that you keep. So your product, processes, and its secrets must be kept with you. Okay, so immediately you open the secret to somebody else to know, then you've lost the value of the brand. Then what you expect to have is based on the fact that you have a customer base that is widely spread across a geographical area. An independent person that has the capital want to set up a shop, okay, and then come to you for you to give the person the right equipment, the right processes and supplies to produce the same product that you produce of the same quality, the same feel at that different location. Okay, and once you do that, means that you must monitor the production processes. You must monitor to make sure that they are using the right inputs. They are baking to the right temperature, to the right texture. So that if your customer moves from here and they say the franchise is in Kumasi and they go to that shop and they eat that thing, it tastes the same, almost the same as they will eat or they ate from your other side. So that's what the franchise means. And the advantage is that you don't need to put up a lot of capital to sort of expand. You can expand and become a well-known brand and still be a franchise.
Because the franchises are paying you.
And things like that.
Franchising, as Frank is saying, there's a lot of money there. And Ghana Bar does not allow me to advertise, but just remember that you'll need a lawyer.
Okay, so before you decide to go into franchising, my advice would be that focus on the base. So get your base solid. The brand, like how what Frank was saying, be clear on what your brand is. I'm still so fixated on this best chocolate cake in Accra.
We have to try it. But should she have like some star products that she's known for?
Yes, so I was going to come to that. So that's the best chocolate cake, for instance. You have to have a product range that you're very good at, and your customers know that that's why we have to go to her. The product must be consistent, so we shouldn't taste the cake today and it has a different taste. We shouldn't have any issues of, oh, it was better last year. And so you have to get the point where you're so detailed to the T in terms of what you're putting into the cake. And like Frank said, you're going to have trade secrets. There's going to be something about your cake that makes it different from everybody else. It can't be the same taste. So the product,
like some secret chocolate syrup that is added to the cake, and you will now sell to the franchises.
Exactly. And so that's going to be something you trademark that becomes yours. So the product must be consistent. Another thing that you have to consider whilst you're trying to put this franchise business into perspective is, what's the feeling that you want your customers to have about your product? So the brand, again, the experience that you're trying to sell. When they put a piece of your cake in their mouth, what is that feeling? When they engage your brand, what feelings you want them to have? And so when Auntie Charlotte said about the packaging, for instance, that's one thing to consider. Is it going to be a packaging that always reminds me of I'm very, very special, and it's okay if I have chocolate cake 24 hours a day?
So you have to also pick a color that
gives out the feelings that you want to
stands
express.
out, that people remember.
The packaging. The delivery is also important. I heard you saying that you use Uber.
Yes.
And you explained that delivery can be a challenge because you can't deliver all the cakes by yourself. But you can do little things to add value to the delivery. You can put a small note and say, thank you very much for purchasing my desserts. You're really, really special. Enjoy every bite of this, made with love. You know, things like that. Just to make it extra special. And then consistently communicate all of these things.
So and we should also get that feel from your social media pages that we are loved, we are valued. It's almost special to be a customer of Favored Home Desserts.
So throughout everything that you do, you're bringing this personality out. So your brand has a personality, like you have a personality. If you want your brand to be fun-loving, exciting, warm, always likes to be smiling and fun, you have to let that translate into everything that you do. The packaging, the colors, the messaging, everything. And even how you respond to customer inquiries. So if you're going to be a fun-loving young brand, you don't respond to messages with "Dear Mrs. Osei." You might want to say, "Hello, Mrs. Osei. It's so exciting to hear from you today. How may we help you?" So they get that sense from your messaging, the warmth, the excitement, and the youth, the youthfulness. So these are things that you consider. And once you get that base properly done, then you can, and you know it's not a fluke. You know how to replicate it. Then franchising becomes much more easier.
But you know, I think it's actually easy for her because there's authenticity between her personality and the brand she's trying to sell. Because you're so warm and you're so engaging, and your kitchen was like, I wanted to eat the stuff coming out of the kitchen. So just let's see a little bit more of Yaba in the Favored Home Desserts. You are holding yourself back and selling the desserts, but I think that what the brand actually needs is your personality. So let's see a little bit more of that. And you're so sweet and so warm, and we want to just eat that up with the Accra Best chocolate cake.
Like I was joking with her before the show, and when I looked at her Instagram page, she had so many nice cakes, and then in the middle somewhere there was this smiley young woman, and that's what attracted me to the page. So I went there and I was reading all these things about her.
Yaba is the brand. So all too soon, we're getting to the end of our conversation with Yaba. And we still want to try Accra's Best chocolate cake. But in the meantime, if you are watching from home and you have a business challenge or a question, please send it to us and we'll do our best to get your response. We have our WhatsApp number out there and our email address. And of course, on any of the social media platforms, you can send us a message. But let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up with Favored Home Desserts.
Youth of Ghana, are you ready? Youth of Ghana, are you ready? Are you between the ages of 15 and 35? Join the My Voice, My Vote survey, an initiative of the Youth Empowerment Synergy, Yes Ghana, in partnership with SISU and 100% for Children, and let your voice be heard on one of the biggest platforms informing choices and decisions before the 2020 elections. Let your voices be heard by dialing star 800 star 25 ash on all networks, or visit www.yesghana.org/MVMV 2020, or get ballot cards or braille ballot cards to cast your vote as a Ghanaian youth on top 3 critical issues that are of immediate concern to you and should be prioritized by the next government. The top 3 development issues voted by you will be translated into a nationwide campaign, culminating into a presidential dialogue with the various presidential candidates. We are leaving no one behind. Let's get involved, as the time for an inclusive governance is now. My voice, my vote. Amplifying the voices of the youth of Ghana.
Welcome back, viewers. We've been talking with Yaba, the owner of Favored Home Desserts, and they make Accra's best chocolate cake. So Yaba, this has been interesting. We've talked branding, we've talked marketing, we've talked customer service, we've talked about process, we've talked about managing your books better. Is there any other question you have for us?
No, I don't have any questions, but what I do have are some of Accra's best chocolate cakes. I brought some cupcakes.
Oh, lovely.
So
Petra, I know, has been dying to taste this.
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
Do I see a GH1 TV logo there?
Yes, GH1 Business Compass and then my logo.
Oh, that's nice. That is so sweet.
Very nice.
Yes, so here they are.
No, you guys start. I need to give Yaba a truck. So while you guys are tasting, let me give Yaba. What are we giving Yaba? Profit for Petra, just 1 second of your attention on this side.
Yes, ma'am.
Before you go back to the cake.
Niche, yeah. We have KYC.
Process is track.
I think niche.
Niche. I think that's been the message we've been trying to. Okay, so Yaba, we're going to give this to you.
Okay.
I'll pass it on to you.
Okay.
So that you always remember that you're in a niche space and you need to focus on that space.
Okay.
You're different from all the other cake makers in Accra. So pass it on.
You're really special.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
very
we
much.
want you to make us, the customers, feel special.
Okay, I will.
Okay, so let's try the cake. While you guys are trying, because we're out of time, let's just
Okay,
remind
that one is
our
red
viewers
velvet.
that Business Compass is produced by Fiducia Services Limited in collaboration with GH1 TV. And we are proudly sponsored by First National Bank. How can we help you? And Akosombo Textile, bringing fabric to life. And my name is Charlotte Osei. Thank you for watching. See you next week. And now it's time for cake. Bye.
One major thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to work on how I deal with my clients. So I'm going to take their advice and outsource my social media management. Now I know the difference between outsourcing and employing. So I'll outsource it, have somebody do the social media while I focus on the creative side, the baking and everything else, yes.
Life is beautiful when all seems to be going on well, until the unfortunate happens. Misfortunes happen, but their effect never gets to me. Thanks to Star Life for providing a way of life that is comfortable, enriching, and fulfilling. It's meant for you to live it.
Restoring you like it never happened is our way of life. Star Life, your solid partner for life.
Light it up, dynamite. Shining through the city with a little fucking soul. Light it up like dynamite. This is
tough on stains with longer lasting freshness. New Omo Extra Fresh with longer lasting freshness.